And why is symbolism appearing in the world now? And how did the name and the idea of the symbolic world come about?
Well, I think that materialism is running its course and it's kind of self-devouring, even in the sciences. We're reaching the point where I like to phrase it that for a few hundred years, people have stood in the space of, let's say, first person space, this conscious space of experience, and have used the tools of that space to analyze the world and to do a pretty good job at it in terms of material causality and predictability in terms of material effects. And they thought, in a way, the people who were engaged, not everybody, but a lot of people engaging in this thought that this was they were going to win this fight, and for the fight to kind of encompass all of reality, and to be able to explain all of reality. And so in the moment that they were winning, they realized that there was one thing that they hadn't analyzed yet, which is this person, this kind of experience, this intelligence, or the possibility of rationality, or all of this kind of first person experience that we have as human people. And so when they turned their eyes back on that, on the eye that was looking, all of a sudden things started to get really loopy, and all of the certainty that they thought they had, not that it was thrown into chaos, but rather that all of a sudden the notion of the frame started to appear, the idea that there are frames of perceptions and that we need category structures, that language started to appear again as being important. And so I think that that's the space that we're in. A lot of people have taken this down the postmodern route, but I believe the more fruitful way to go down this route is to explore traditional thinking once again, and to notice that the ancients, whether it's even the Greek philosophers, but also the ancient religious thinkers, this is what they were talking about. Like this is what they were referring to when they were talking about causality, about meaning, and the way that they interpreted the world. So I think that it's the right moment. We're just falling in the right moment where now people are able to even understand what we're talking about. And 50 years ago, the things we're talking about in terms of symbolism, a lot of people just wouldn't even have known what the subject is, because they were too taken up by their vision. Their frame was so strong that they weren't even able to see it. And we see that still today. I mean, we talked a little earlier off camera about these discussions with atheists that I've been having, and you can feel that in some of them, that they don't see it. They still don't see it. You try to point out the frame, you try to point it out, but it's hard. It's really hard to see the water you're swimming in. It's very difficult. And so I think that that's why this is the moment. But even those conversations are great for people who are watching and are right on the verge of getting it. And so they can see the other person not understanding. And so it can help nudge them towards this kind of vision of this symbolic vision, I would call it.